This is not going to be an ordinary video. This is very different from anything I've ever done before. Just a couple of things. For Living Ichigo supporters and fans, I'm going to say some things that are critical. All right? Just be prepared for that. For people that dislike Living Ichigo and people that, whatever the case is, that are not supporters of him, I'm going to say some things that may be hard for you to hear as well. I just ask that everyone give me a chance to say what I have to say about this whole thing, and maybe we can all come out of this situation a little bit stronger as a community. Because remember, the Dokkan community as a whole is an entire community. So I want to address Living Ichigo, or as he is as his real name is Theo, because I want to talk to you directly, man to man. My name's David. I'm a very small YouTuber, as you can probably see and hear. And I don't have a whole lot of weight to stand on. But if you want to hear me out, you said you were open to criticism, to suggestions. Here we go. So, first thing I want to talk about is the something's wrong video. Most of this video, I'm going to be talking straight to you, Theo. This is just man to man, but it's an open letter. I want this to be public. I want other people to hear this as well, but I'm talking to you directly. Ads on an apology video, not the best look. I understand that you're struggling with money. You work multiple jobs. You made that very clear, and I'm sorry to hear that. However, regardless, when you're apologizing for something, or there's something that you've done wrong and you want to make a video about it, it's not a really good look to monetize that video. I could monetize this video and call it a commentary video, but I'm not a commentary channel, so I'm not going to go that route. I also want to show you that I'm genuine when I say that for topics like these, you shouldn't be trying to make money off of them. So that's one thing. Also, just a little history about me and my relationship with you that you don't know about. I was one of your fans before I started making my own content, mostly because you're right. There weren't a whole lot of other Dokkan YouTubers out there, and you were doing content on it. So I subscribed and I stuck around for a little while. But there were some things that started to bother me, and it was your general attitude towards people that had different opinions towards you. It was the blocking of people. I know you were accused of multiple things that I won't get into because I don't have any proof over those things, but I started kind of seeing where people were coming from with that. And, the way you handle not getting the SSR that you wanted, I get it when you spend a lot of money for something and you don't get what you wanted, it sucks, but, just all of that negativity really turned me off. And that's why I unsubscribed from your channel and stopped watching. But I was shown this video and the following video, and so I have some kind of things to say about it. Now, the Something's Wrong video, I'm going to be very critical of that video. All right. I know it was unscripted and it was kind of rambling on, and I've got bullet points here, so I'm a little scripted. So it's a little bit of an unfair ground. I'll just go ahead and say that. But there was a lot of self-congratulatory bullshit, as I like to call it. And that was one of the main things that turned me off to your channel is, I'm the number one, or I was the first person to do this kind of content. I was the number one YouTuber doing Dokkan for a while. That kind of shit, man, it doesn't really matter at all. It's just kind of patting yourself on the back, and it doesn't really look good. Now, I don't think that's what you were trying to do necessarily, but that is how you come across to a lot of these people. So I think that's a reason why maybe you got a negative reaction to this first video and felt the need to make the second one, which I will say was much better, but we'll get into that in a little issue. So that was my main issue. One of the other things that you mentioned is that most other YouTubers, if I'm misquoting you, please let me know. Most other YouTubers don't run communities like Discord. That's also not true. Every YouTuber I personally know has a Discord channel at the least, or a server at the least. I know of many other YouTubers that have talked about their Discord. Riku's got his Discord, posted on, on all of his videos. You don't even have to go to the description. It's just right there. Or at least that's how it was last time I watched. The Truth has talked about his Discord and how it got really toxic, and so he hasn't been in there, but he wants to start a new one. So that whole thing about you're the only one who's running their own community is completely untrue. And pretty much anyone that live streams is running their own community because there's a community in there. There's inside jokes. I have a community, and I don't even have 10,000 subs yet, and I already have a community going that has inside jokes. So I think it's very disingenuous to say to say that you're one of the only YouTubers that does that. That's just not true. And I think you owe it to your fans and the rest of the community to be more upfront. Now we're going to get to that. You did a lot better on the second video. We'll get to that. I want to talk about depression because you talked about depression. I'm sorry that you are going through that. It's really rough. Know that I'm 100% genuine when I say this. I understand what you're going through completely. I myself have depression. I have been ripped away from the tailpipe of a car trying to tape a hose to it. That's a real story that has happened to me. And I'm currently taking medicine for generalized depression and generalized anxiety because that's what doctors in the US do when they don't know exactly what's wrong with you. They go, "Oh, you need more serotonin, you need more dopamine, you need something to calm you down when you're freaking out." I take that stuff. It works great. I love it. It hasn't changed who I am as a person, and it works fine. If medication doesn't work for you, it is what it is. But I would at least recommend talking to a doctor, which you said you did, but getting some solid therapy if you really have depression. However, what I can tell you about depression is it's not triggered, as you said. You talked multiple times about how your depression is triggered. That's sadness. Depression isn't triggered by anything. Depression is a disease. Depression is a lack of drugs and chemicals in your brain that produce those feelings that make you happy. So if it's triggered by something, you're just not handling something very well. That's not what depression is. Depression isn't something happens and I feel bad about it. Depression is the inability to be happy, the inability to care, the inability to value your own life no matter what. Whether everything's going great, whether everything is going bad, a good thing happens and 2 minutes later you're miserable again because you think about one bad thing and that's all it takes. That's all it takes. That's what depression is. So talk to a doctor, see if that's what you really got. Maybe you do. I don't know. But from the way you described it, it doesn't sound like typical clinical depression. You know what I mean? So definitely talk to a doctor if you're not feeling good about yourself and all of that kind of stuff. And I do hope that you get the help that you need to feel better and all of that kind of stuff. Because once again, I've been through it. I understand. It's rough. It's tough. But I do want to mention that is not triggered. You know, it's just there. It's you wake up in the morning and you're like, God damn it, I'm still alive. Fuck today. That's what depression is. And I take medicine for it. And I'm glad. I'm glad I take medicine for it. Because I have tried to kill myself multiple times. And somehow always somebody had a feeling and came back to the rescue. And now I'm on medication for it. And now I feel fine. It's still there. It's still there. Every day I got to fight it. But I now have the weapons to fight it. Maybe you need that. Maybe you need therapy. Maybe you need drugs. I don't want to take drugs. For the longest time, I didn't want to take drugs. It took me I'm 28 years old now, and this is the first time I'm seriously taking medicine for my disease that I have. I highly recommend psychiatry. If you don't want to go that route, I highly recommend therapy. A combination of both is probably best. But what do I know? I'm not an expert. Keep talking to your doctor, man. And I wish you the best. I hope you get through this. So throughout this video, there's kind of, in addition to what I call a self-congratulatory bullshit, there's an overall sense of pulling the victim card and blaming, like, oh, like all these people said all these things about me. Maybe they were lies. Maybe people were being mean or whatever the case is. But the fact is, you're on the internet. You put yourself on here. You gotta be used to people saying faggot, kill yourself, fuck you, you're ugly, all of that shit. That's just what people do. And yes, it's because they lack a social life. It shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't surprise you anymore. So yeah, maybe when other YouTubers kind of shun you a little bit or kind of back away a little bit, that can make you feel bad because they're a bigger figure, or maybe people that you considered friends, and that can be a little bit rough. I get that. But overall, this video was just plagued with the same kind of shit that made me click unsubscribe from your channel. And then you said that you feel really alone, and that's what's triggering your depression. Not trying to say you don't have depression. I don't know. Once again, talk to your doctor some more. The Can We Start Over video, that to me seemed much more genuine. The Something's Wrong video seemed more like a just throwing stuff out there, seeing what sticks kind of thing, not really sure what approach to take. Can We Start Over sounded a lot more from your heart, and I appreciate that video. That video is a good one. I liked that one. It was still monetized, which once again, it comes across wrong. You know what I mean? Like I get the money issues. I do. I get it. I have money issues myself. I play a gacha game, and I spend way too much for what I make on Dragonstones to try to get my YouTube channel bigger and more popular and all that kind of stuff. We all do it, and it is what it is. So you want to get all the money you can, but when you're apologizing for something, when you're trying to make amends, monetizing that video looks really, really bad for you. Anyway, but you sounded real. You sounded like you were coming from the right place, and you admitted fault. You weren't like before. It was I'm alienated, and this time you're saying I've alienated myself from. That I appreciate. It started off with I hate that it all happened, but then you immediately turn to I want to apologize. Sometimes it's really hard for people to apologize. Sometimes people don't really feel sorry, and they say, I'm sorry that you got your feelings hurt. And that's what I hate that it all happened sounded like to me, but then you immediately changed your tone and said, I want to apologize to everyone and to you guys, the fans. So bravo on that one. That I know that wasn't easy for you. That was really good. You say you've changed. You say you're open to advice and criticism. So if you've made it to the end of this video, you've got my support. If you're here watching this now, you have my support. I've got your back. You can hit me up on Twitter. You can hit me up in the Discord. All those links are in the description. If you want to find me, if you want to talk privately, if you want to talk about depression, I've been through it. It always helps to have someone that sort of understands. Everyone's different, but to have someone that sort of understands what you're going through. I would like to believe you. I would like to believe you. And now this is for all of you guys out there that aren't fans of Living Ichigo. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. All right? Wait until he shows you otherwise. You can be cautiously optimistic. You can be just cautious. But in general, give the guy a chance. He's a human being. Until he proves otherwise, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and, be supportive of him. We're human beings, guys. We're on this planet together. We got to be good to each other, especially because this is our community. This is the Dokkan community. All right? Some of you may see him as the Keemstar of Dokkan. Keemstar shaped up. Theo can too. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone's capable of it, and everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone. Whatever that second chance may be. So, last thing, Theo, just one final thing. Now, what you need to do to win people like myself back, you've talked the good talk. Now we need to see you walk the walk. We need to see you being a better person. We need to see you making your own original content without bashing other people. We need to see you helping out the community. We need to see you being the good person that you say you want to be. And if you need some help with that, if you need to get yourself into a different community or anything like that, do what you got to do. But I'm here for you if you need to talk. If you need to talk about anything, if you need to, or if you just want to hear thoughts from someone who's an old fan of yours who kind of strayed away. Why did that happen? How can you avoid it in the future? What were my turnoffs? For lack of a better term. Let me know. I'm here to help. I want to believe you, and I believe in you, and I'm sorry that you're going through all of this rough stuff, and I'm willing to put it all aside. You're turning over a new leaf? Show us. Prove everyone that says you're not turning over a new leaf and that these videos are just bullshit. Prove them wrong. I want to see you do it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for hearing me out. And God bless, Theo.